The bears hold their pivot for now, and the bulls face a major test. Who will win? This is Invest with Jacob. Okay, guys, so in yesterday's video, we talked about the fact that we were looking for a move higher either after a small pullback or in a direct fashion, depending on how they wanted to do it. The bulls elected to do it in a direct fashion, which is more like a C wave and favors the bears. I'll get into that in just 1 second, but first, if you're new here, welcome to the show, guys. My name is Jacob Gabbard, and this is Invest with Jacob, where we use Elliott Wave Theory to break down the SP 500 and the NASDAQ. I highly encourage you to hit that subscribe button down below so that you can get our daily S&P updates, our trade setups, and our buy alerts. All right, guys, the bulls did move it directly higher, and we were all over it. As you can see on the screen, we were in early, had over a 100% winner today. Guys in the room made a lot of money. Full disclosure, we did give a little back later in the day, but not too much, and had a nice green winning day again. If you want to be part of this winning team, stay tuned for later in the video. But for now, let's jump into the chart and take a look. Okay, guys, so here we are on the 1 hour futures chart for the S&P 500, and it continues to fill out in a manner that we would expect. We said that this truncated 5, that this would be a 1, they would hold support in 2, and then push higher to at least that 4417 area, which was the 1.0, and that's exactly what they did. They did not give us a pullback here off the 618. They kind of chopped it sideways overnight and took it directly higher. And so that move does favor this being more of a C wave, especially since it hit the 1.0 and stopped, rather than a wave 3. Now, that doesn't mean it can't be a wave 3. It just means that way more often than not, when we don't get a pullback off of one of these levels in here, it is more of a C wave look, especially when it hits the 1.0. So our primary is still the bullish count until proven otherwise. That will be the primary until key levels break, but we have to be on alert now because we did get a direct move higher here, which does favor that as a potential red C wave for this wave 4, which would then leave to a wave 5 down toward the 4060 area or so. So let's go through our two counts here so everybody understands where we're at off of the low. Off this truncated 5th here that we got on Friday, we have a wave 1 up, a wave 2 down, and then they did give us a small pullback here, but it was under the 382, so it's not ideal. You really want wave 1 of 3 to hit at least the 382 because the whole idea is they come up in wave 1 of 3 and they chop on this resistance over here. They fail a little bit. They fail less than they did off the first time they hit the resistance. So 2 of 3 comes back, and then wave 3 of 3 comes back, chops a little bit like it did right here. Okay, you see this chop as it breaks through, and then you get that sharp move higher. So that is a typical setup for a bull move. We didn't quite get that because this wasn't high enough. It wasn't up to at least the 382, but we are counting it that way for now, where this is 1 of 3, 2 of 3. Today, could have topped in 3 of 3. As long as they're above this 4389 area, they can come below it a little bit. But as long as they're above that, we can still make one more high up here to the 4444 area. And that would be 5 of 3. Otherwise, I'm sorry, this would be 3 of 3. Otherwise, 3 of 3 ended here at 4417 at the 1.0. And we would expect to test 4372. So this is the key test that I talked about in the intro. The bears are trying to push down through this pivot, 4389.50 to 4372. This is the bull pivot for the up move off of last Friday's low. Okay, and if they can push back through 4372, that makes this not an impulsive move to the upside. And we would either have to have a diagonal to the upside, or we'd be looking for the red wave 5, which comes in down here at around 4138 to 4096 for the overall move down. So really important next couple of days to see if they can hold this pivot at 4389 to 4372. That would be bullish if they hold and make another high. But if the bears can break back down through that, we'll have to see what we get. But we should expect them to come back down and test this low here at 4300. And then if they can ultimately break this low down here, that is very bad news for the bulls. Over on the NASDAQ. Okay, guys, so on the NASDAQ, they are playing by the rules. The NASDAQ has been the leader in the clubhouse for the way up the entire time. They were leading since last April and have been weaker to the downside, whereas ES has moved down much stronger. And so off of this low that we got back on the 27th, you would count this as 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So you got all of your wave 3 that they just hit yesterday up in this 1382 to 1618 level that I told you yesterday they should come up to and then look to pull back. They did exactly that. And now they should be headed back toward that 15131 area for wave 4, assuming they can hold that and all the way down to 15020. If they come down here, I'd still consider that a bit of a warning. They can come down in between these two, but all the way down to 15,020 would be a warning. But we would like to see them hold this area, then push higher in wave 5 toward the 15,500 to 15,600 area to complete this 5-wave move up, which would be wave 1 of wave 5 of 3 to the upside. So that's what we'd look for on the NASDAQ as a completion of the bull move. They need to hold that 15,020 area, and really above that would be better. If they get all the way down to that, that would be a warning that we may not continue the upside move. So this is what we'd look for on the NASDAQ for the upside. Now for the bear count, we have to zoom out a little bit because it would be a much bigger diagonal. And this would be a B wave high of 3. And let's zoom out and we'll take a look at what I mean by that. So remember, all moves in diagonals are 3-wave structures. So off of the high, you'd have A, B, C for 1, A, B, C for 2, A, B, and then C down here for wave 3. And that would be down towards this 4068 to 13856 area. The 1236 to 1382, very common fib to hit for a wave 3 in a diagonal. And then we look for a wave 4 back up into wave 1 territory, which we all know is back up here at the 15,300 level. So a pretty big wave 4. You'd look for an A, B, C back up, probably towards this high right here. And then you'd look for a big wave 5 down to complete a leading diagonal down toward this 13,276 area overall for a wave 1 of a bigger wave C, one of a bigger wave C down on the NASDAQ. So that's what we'd be looking for. If they can't follow through with that 5-wave structure to the upside, we'd look at a pretty sharp sell-off down to the 14,068, 13,856 level. And then we'd look for a bounce from there and then one more low to give us that diagonal pattern down here around 13,276. Guys, if you love the information that I put out in these videos and you want real-time market updates from me, you need to check out investwithjacob.com. There's a link down in the description. Go ahead and click that link. It'll take you right over to the website. Once you're there, check out our membership plans area. We have 2 incredible monthly plans that both come with a 7-day free trial. The reason is I want you to get in there. I want you to make sure you love it and become part of the trading team before you ever spend a penny, and you can cancel at any time. We also have our Elliott Wave for Beginners course. This course is helping real traders make real money and finally understand the market in a way that makes sense. It's hard to comprehend how bad news makes the market go up and good news makes the market go down, and it can be quite confusing and hard to trade. However, with Elliott Wave, you know the key levels, where to expect failures, and where to expect targets. It is 25 videos in 3 sections where I go over an introduction. We go through the expectations, your mindset, the KISS theory, and why it works. We also go through your chart setup, every tool you need on your chart, and how to use it with Elliott Wave to make sure you see these targets, tops, bottoms, and trading points, as well as the Elliott Wave for Beginners section, where we go through each wave, how they work, what their targets are, what their failure points are, corrective depth theory, theory of alternation, the pivot, everything you need to know to finally understand the market in a way that makes sense. The really cool thing about the course is if you don't want to buy it outright, it is included in both of our monthly rooms. So if you become a member, you get the course for free. In our first room, the Invest with Jacob room, you get all of my real-time market updates, all of my buy and sell alerts, all of your Elliott Wave questions answered, a midday video where I go over exactly where we are in the counts and what to expect, as well as the training material you just saw. We trade the SPY and the QQQ, and we swing trade, which means our trades can last anywhere from a few days to a few months, so we don't trade quite as often as a day trading room does. However, if you are looking for day trading as well as individual stocks, you need to check out PT's throne room. In there, you get everything you get in the Invest with Jacob room, as well as individual stocks, day trading, and PT's reduced risk binary method that just crushes the market. He gets you in at a cheap price and gets you big multiples on your money, and it's how he structures his trades. It's so unique. Something you really need to see to understand, and that's another reason we get you that 7-day free trial. He also started a challenge account where he put $4,000 into an account, trading mini ES futures, showing you how to build a small account into a large retirement or savings account. Guys, we would love to have you in these rooms so we can all make money together. All right, key takeaways for today. The bulls are facing a pretty big test. They need to hold their pivot over here at 43.89 to 43.7250, assuming this pullback can hold that area and push higher up toward the 44.61 to 44.89 area to complete this wave 3. We would still have a bullish structure on our hands. However, if the bears can break down through that level, we would be looking at a potential takeout of this low and a move down toward the 41.38 area overall for a bigger wave 5 of 3, and then another bounce and a low from there. Over on the NASDAQ, again, the bulls need to hold 15,131 all the way down to 15,020, although that would be a little bit of a warning to me. But 15,131 would be the level we'd expect them to hold, and then another push higher up toward that 15.5 to 15.600 to give us a nice wave 1 up off of the lows. Then we'd look for a wave 2 pullback to hold support. However, if they can't hold those levels, we should look for a strong sell-off down toward the 14.068 to 13.856 areas to give us all of this wave 3 and a bigger diagonal before seeing a bounce and then another low from there. Guys, that is your market update for today. I will talk to you tomorrow.